The elevator to the top floor of Thorn Group feels like a slow descent. Isabella Cavendish stands with her shoulders straight, even though the thin cotton of her faded white shirt clings to her back. Her jeans are clean, but they do not belong in a tower of glass and marble. 3 days ago, the Cavendish name was still carved into invitation cards and whispered like a password in Manhattan. Now the same name is printed on court filings and bankruptcy notices. Her father lies motionless in a hospital bed. Her mother is in intensive care. The lawyers talk in numbers that land on her chest like stone. She sold the jewelry first, then the handbags, then the watches, then the paintings she used to pass without seeing. When the pawnbroker took her mother's pearl earrings, Isabella did not cry. She simply nodded and asked for the receipt. A receptionist guides her to the last door at the end of a corridor so quiet it swallows footsteps. Inside, the office is too large for one man. A wall of windows frames Manhattan like a trophy case. Behind a desk the size of a dining table sits Keller Thorne. He wears a tailored black suit. His hair is dark, his jaw set, his eyes cold. Those eyes lock onto her as if he has been waiting for years. He leans back, fingers steepled, and says, "Isabella Cavendish." Her name in his mouth is not an introduction. It is a verdict. She forces air into her lungs. "Mr. Thorne." He smiles without warmth. "My assistant tells me you are here, asking for a job." His voice dips, amused, cruel. "Tell me, did you practice this moment in the mirror?" Heat rushes to her face. She keeps her chin level. "I am here to work. I have the skills. I can support your schedule, your correspondence, your meetings." Keller picks up a file, flips it once, then drops it on the desk with a sound like a slap. "You want to work? Fine." He pushes a thick stack of documents toward her. "Organize these. Build a report. I want it on my desk by 9 tomorrow morning. Not a minute late, not a page missing." Before she can respond, he adds, "Bring me coffee every morning, fresh ground, exactly 185 degrees Fahrenheit." She blinks. "That is too hot to drink." His gaze sharpens. "It is what I want." He stands and walks around the desk. The air shifts. He stops close enough that his presence presses against her skin. "And one more thing," he says. "My office, the lounge, and the restroom, you will clean them yourself. I do not want the janitorial staff touching anything in my space." Isabella's throat tightens. That is not in an executive assistant job description. Keller tilts his head. "In my company, I write the description. In my office, I am the role." His voice lowers. "Do you know what your family did to mine?" She does not move. "I do not know what you think you know," she says carefully. "But I am not here to argue the past. My parents are in the hospital. I need the salary." A flicker crosses his face, not pity, something darker. "Good," Keller says. "Then you understand leverage." He takes one step closer. The edge of the file cabinet digs into her spine. "Take the job," he says. "Or walk out, and let your parents wait for the money you cannot earn." The words hit her like a fist. Her pride is a luxury she cannot afford. Isabella lowers her gaze. "I will do it." Keller's eyes narrow as if he is disappointed she did not fight harder. Then he nods once. "Good." He turns away as if she is already invisible. "Start with the coffee, remember 185. Isabella walks out slowly, because she will not run. The elevator doors close on her reflection, a woman holding herself together with sheer will. She whispers to the glass, "Just survive." Isabella learns fast, because she has no other choice. She arrives before sunrise, hands numb from the winter air and from the burn on her palm. The first time she tries to deliver coffee at Keller's demanded temperature, the cup scalds her skin. She bites the inside of her cheek until she tastes blood. Keller takes one sip, frowns, and says, "Too bitter. Make it again." She does it again. And again. By the 4th cup, her fingers are red. By the 10th, her stomach is empty and her head is thick with exhaustion. Keller watches the process with the calm interest of someone testing a machine. When she finally delivers something he does not reject, he slides a second stack of files across the desk. These two. Her nights become a loop. Work. Hospital. Work again. People recognize her. Not the way they used to. At a corporate charity dinner, Keller orders her to wear a service uniform. It is stiff, the kind staff wear when no one is supposed to notice them. It does not fit her shoulders. The collar scratches her neck. She holds a tray of champagne and tries not to hear the laughter. A woman in a silver dress steps into her path. Emily Hart, once a distant acquaintance, now looks at Isabella like she is an exhibit. Emily lifts her glass. Is this real? The Cavendish princess is serving drinks. Isabella keeps her face blank. Excuse me, I am working. Emily leans closer, perfume sharp. You used to walk right past me at events, like I was furniture. Now look at you. A few people nearby slow down, listening. Isabella feels the room tilt. Her chest tightens. She forces herself to nod once. Enjoy your evening, Miss Hart. Emily laughs. Oh, I will. Isabella turns away and her foot catches on the carpet. The tray tilts. A flute of champagne spills, splashing onto Emily's dress. The silence is instant. Emily's smile dies. You did that on purpose. I did not. Isabella says quickly. Emily slaps her hand away. Do not touch me. Do you know how much this dress costs? A circle forms. Then Keller's voice cuts through. Enough. He steps in, expression carved from ice. My assistant will not be spoken to that way. If you have a complaint, speak to me. Emily falters. Keller does not. He turns to Isabella, voice low enough for only her. Do not mistake that for kindness. I will not let anyone else take pleasure in your humiliation. He walks away. Isabella stands frozen, shocked by the defense, and sickened by the possessive cruelty of it. The project with Greystone Capital is supposed to be routine. Keller calls it a temporary partnership. Isabella sees the tension in his jaw every time the other company is mentioned. The first meeting takes place in a conference room flooded with winter light. Lawyers sit like stone statues. Keller speaks in calm, precise sentences that leave no room to breathe. Across the table sits Marcus Gray. Marcus has the kind of smile that belongs on magazine covers and predator documentaries. His suit is expensive, his manners flawless, his eyes always a fraction too sharp. When the meeting ends, people stand, shake hands, and file out. Isabella gathers documents, already thinking about the follow-up email Keller will demand within 10 minutes. A shadow falls over her. Isabella Cavendish. Marcus says, as if tasting her name. I have not seen you since the old days. She keeps her gaze on the folder. Mr. Gray. He steps closer. You look different. She says nothing. Marcus lowers his voice. I heard your family crashed. I am sorry, truly. The sympathy sounds like a joke told badly. He continues. I also heard you are working for Keller Thorne. Isabella's fingers tighten around the folder. Yes. Marcus's eyes flick across her face. That must be unpleasant. Keller is not known for forgiveness. A pause then. But I could make things easier for you. Isabella looks up, wary. What do you mean? Marcus spreads his hands as if offering a gift. Come work for me, or do not work at all. I can cover your parents' medical bills. I can put you back where you belong. Her stomach turns. I belong nowhere. I am an employee. Please step aside. Marcus chuckles. You still have that pride, even now. He reaches out, aiming for her cheek like she is an object he owns. Isabella steps back, but the edge of the table blocks her. Panic spikes. A hand clamps around her wrist and pulls her behind a solid wall of a body. Keller. His grip is firm, protective, furious. He faces Marcus with an expression so cold it makes the room feel smaller. Touch her again and I will end this partnership in a way you will remember. Marcus lifts both hands. Relax. I was only talking. Keller does not release Isabella's wrist. He says. She works for me. That means she is off limits. Marcus's smile widens, delighted. She works for you. Is that what you call it? Keller's eyes narrow. Do not test me. Marcus leans in slightly, voice smooth. Careful, Keller. People might think you care. Keller does not blink. People can think whatever they want. Then he pulls Isabella away, walking fast, not looking back. In the hallway, Isabella struggles to match his pace. Mr. Thorne, I can handle myself. Keller stops so abruptly she almost collides with him. He turns and for the first time she sees something raw behind his control. Anger, yes. But also fear. His voice is low. Marcus Gray is poison. If he offers you something, you refuse. If he calls you, you do not answer. If he shows up, you walk away. She searches his face. Why do you care? Keller's jaw tightens. His eyes flick to her lips, then away, as if the question itself is dangerous. I do not care. He says. I am protecting my assets. She flinches, the word stinging. He exhales, then adds, quieter. Do not put yourself in his reach again. He turns and walks away. Isabella stands alone in the corridor, heart racing. The phrase echoes in her mind. She works for me. She's off limits. It should feel like another kind of cage. Instead it feels, for one reckless second, like shelter. After Marcus Gray, Keller changes. He is still demanding, still sharp, still strict about details. But the cruelty fades at the edges. He stops assigning her humiliating tasks. When he corrects her, it is direct, almost professional. It confuses her more than his hatred ever did. One night, a storm rolls over the city, turning the windows into sheets of water. The office is nearly empty. Isabella finishes drafting a speech for Keller's investor call and prints it out, her eyes burning. She stands to bring it to him and nearly sways. Her head pounds. Her throat feels like sandpaper. She has been coughing all day, ignoring it, because sick days are for people with safety nets. Keller looks up as she enters. You are late. I was finishing the revisions. She says. He reaches for the pages, then pauses, watching her face. You are flushed. He says. It is nothing. Keller circles the desk and stops in front of her. He presses the back of his fingers to her forehead. You have a fever. He says flatly. Isabella steps back. I cannot leave. You can. Keller says. You will. She shakes her head. If I miss tomorrow, you will fire me. For a moment, his eyes harden. Then he says. No, I will not. He picks up his phone. Car service, now. Isabella tries to protest. Keller's gaze pins her. You will do what I say. The driver takes her to the hospital first, because she insists. Her mother sleeps under a blanket, face pale but calmer than before. Isabella stands beside the bed, holding her mother's hand, whispering promises she is not sure she can keep. When she turns, Keller is in the doorway. A billionaire CEO does not stand in a public hospital wing at midnight, watching an assistant with an unreadable face. Why are you here? Isabella asks. Keller's voice is low. I told the driver to bring you. I did not tell him to leave. She searches his face for a trap and finds none. Later, wrapped in blankets at Lena Petro's apartment, Isabella listens as Lena hisses. You cannot trust him. Isabella closes her eyes. I know. But the memory of Keller's fingers on her forehead lingers, almost careful, and that is the most dangerous thing of all. Isabella's father wakes on a Tuesday. The call comes while she is in Keller's office, sorting meeting notes. She answers quietly, expecting another update about her mother. Instead, the nurse says, Miss Cavendish, your father is awake. He is asking for you. Isabella's knees go weak. She is halfway out the door when Keller looks up. Where are you going? Hospital. She says, voice shaking. My father woke up. Keller's eyes sharpen. Go. She pauses. You are not angry. Keller's mouth tightens. Do not make me regret it. At the hospital, her father looks older. His skin hangs loose, his hands tremble, but his eyes are clear. When he sees Isabella, he tries to sit up. Bella. She grips his hand. Dad, do not move. You need to rest. His fingers squeeze hers, urgent. Listen to me. The bankruptcy. It was not an accident. Isabella freezes. What? Her father swallows, struggling for words. Your uncle, Alistair. He moved money. He forged signatures. He set up loans in my name. He emptied accounts, then acted shocked when the collapse came. Isabella's heart slams. That is impossible. It is true. Her father whispers. I tried to stop him. I did not have proof. Then the auditors arrived. The board turned. The bank called the loans. I was trapped. Tears fill Isabella's eyes, hot and sudden. Why did you not tell me? He coughs, winces. I was ashamed. I thought I failed you. I thought I failed your mother. Isabella presses her forehead to his hand, shaking. Rage floods her, bright and sharp, directed at a man who once smiled at her across holiday tables. Alistair Cavendish. The same uncle who now sends texts asking if she has access to any remaining family funds. When Isabella leaves the hospital, she walks into the cold air and feels like she is breathing knives. She returns to Thorn Group with a new purpose. She begins to investigate. Quietly, carefully, she checks old filings. She searches for shell companies. She reaches out to a former family accountant who owes Lena a favor. Each night, she builds a puzzle. Keller watches her from across the room. At first he says nothing. Then, one evening he asks, "What are you doing?" Isabella keeps her eyes on the screen. "Work." Keller steps closer. "That is not work." She turns. Her voice is tight. "My family did not just fail. We were pushed." Keller's face flickers, something like doubt moving through him. "Who pushed you?" "My uncle," Isabella says. "And someone else. Someone with money. Someone who benefits." Keller's stare becomes distant, as if he is seeing old memories. He says, slowly, "My father died after your family crushed his company." Isabella's chest aches. "My father did not do that. He did not even know your father." Keller's eyes narrow. "That is what you would say." Isabella flinches. "That is what is true." Keller says nothing, but later that night Isabella notices something. A private investigator's number displayed on his phone screen when he thinks she is not looking. The next day, Keller's assistant, the one who used to glare at Isabella, slips a file onto Isabella's desk. No label. No note. Inside are documents. Transfers. Contracts. Names. Alistair Cavendish. And beneath that, another name. Greystone Holdings. Marcus Gray's father. Isabella's breath catches. Keller appears beside her, silent. She looks up at him. "You knew." Keller's eyes are storm dark. "I suspected. I confirmed." Her voice trembles. "Then your father. The collapse. It was not my family." Keller's jaw tightens as if the words cut him. "No, it was not. The room feels too small." Isabella whispers. "You hated me." Keller's face hardens. "I hated the name. I hated what I thought it represented. And you hurt me anyway," she says, unable to stop the accusation. Keller's throat moves. For a moment he looks like a man staring at his own hands after realizing what they have done. His voice is rough. "Yes. The admission is not an apology. It is a wound opening." Isabella stands, shaking. "Why are you telling me now?" Keller takes a step closer, stopping at the edge of her space. "Because Marcus Gray is moving. Because Alistair is not finished. Because you are in danger." Her laugh is bitter. "I have been in danger since the day my life collapsed." Keller's gaze locks onto hers. "Then let me fix what I broke." She does not know what to do with that. She only knows that when she looks at him now, she sees not just a villain. She sees a man who has been lied to, shaped by grief, and twisted by vengeance. A man who might be capable of regret. And that possibility terrifies her. Marcus Gray does not like losing. 2 days after Isabella begins digging deeper, her phone buzzes with an unknown number. She answers because it could be the hospital. Instead she hears a voice she wishes she could forget. "Isabella." Her spine locks. "Marcus." He laughs softly. "We need to talk." "No. You will." Marcus says. "Because I have your mother." The world stops. Isabella's breath vanishes. "What did you say?" Marcus's tone is calm, like a man describing the weather. "I moved her. A private clinic. Safe. Comfortable. She will stay that way if you cooperate." Isabella grips the edge of her desk until her knuckles whiten. If you touch her, I will kill you. Marcus chuckles. You will not. You will do what I tell you and she will live. Her voice cracks. What do you want? Documents. Marcus says. Thorn Group project plans. The ones Keller keeps locked away. And I want Keller embarrassed at the board meeting. I want the market to see him stumble. Isabella's stomach turns. No. Marcus's voice sharpens. Yes. You will, or your mother will die. The call ends. Isabella sits frozen, hearing only the blood in her ears. Keller's door opens. He steps out, eyes scanning the office. He sees her face and stops. What happened? He demands. Isabella tries to speak, but the words catch. Keller moves fast, crossing the room, crouching in front of her chair. His hands grip the armrests, not touching her, but close. Isabella. He says, voice controlled. Tell me. Her eyes fill with tears. He took my mother. Keller's face turns lethal. Marcus. She nods. Keller stands, phone already in his hand. Come with me. In his office, he shuts the door and says. Repeat every word. Isabella tells him, shaking, hating herself for bringing danger into Keller's world, hating Marcus more, hating Alistair, hating the universe for giving her one fragile reason to keep going and then ripping it away. When she finishes, Keller is silent for 3 long seconds. Then he says. We will get her back. Isabella laughs, broken. How? He wants your secrets. He wants to ruin you. Keller's eyes burn. He will get neither. She wipes her face with trembling fingers. If he thinks I am cooperating, maybe he will not hurt her. Keller steps close. His voice is low. You will not do this alone. Isabella flinches. You want to use me as bait. Keller does not deny it. I want to use his arrogance. He exhales and something shifts. The hardness in his face cracks. He says. I should never have put you in a position where anyone can threaten you. Isabella's breath catches. Is that an apology? Keller's gaze drops to her hands, to the faint burn scars, the small cuts, the exhaustion. When he looks up, his eyes are raw. Yes. He says. It is. The single word lands like a shock. Isabella's throat tightens. She whispers. It does not erase anything. I know. Keller says. But I will spend the rest of my life trying to make it right, if you let me live long enough. The words are dangerous, intimate, too much. She looks away because if she looks at him she will fall apart. Keller continues, brisk again. You will tell Marcus you will cooperate. You will request a meeting, face to face. You will act scared, because you are scared. You will hand him a decoy file. While he watches you, I will trace the signal and take your mother back. Isabella's voice is small. And if he expects that? Keller's smile is cold. Then he will learn what happens when he touches what is mine. She should hate the possessive claim. Instead it steadies her. Because for the first time since her family's collapse, someone is not asking her to be brave alone. The meeting takes place in a warehouse near the river, the kind of place where the city forgets itself. Keller does not want Isabella to go. Isabella insists. If it is my mother, she says. It is my choice. Keller's hands clench. Then I am coming. You cannot. She says. He will run. Keller's eyes flash. He will run anyway. The difference is whether I am there to catch him. In the end, Keller stays hidden, close enough to strike, far enough to keep Marcus confident. Isabella walks into the warehouse with a folder clutched to her chest. The air smells of rust and cold water. Her breath fogs. Marcus Gray waits near a table, flanked by 2 men with hard eyes. He smiles when he sees her. Good girl. Isabella forces her voice steady. Where is my mother? Marcus gestures toward a back room. Alive. For now. Give me what I want. Isabella sets the folder down. Let me see her. Marcus's smile fades slightly, annoyed. He nods. One of the men opens the door. Isabella steps into the back room and sees her mother on a chair, wrists tied, face pale but conscious. Her mother whispers. Bella. Isabella's heart breaks. She takes one step forward, then stops, because a man blocks her path. Marcus's voice comes from behind her. The folder. Isabella turns, hands shaking. Let her go first. Marcus laughs. No, you do not bargain with me. Isabella's vision blurs. She forces herself to pick up the folder and slide it across the table. Marcus opens it, flipping pages. His brows knit. This is not it. Isabella's stomach drops. He looks up, anger sharp. You lied to me. A gun appears in his hand, casual, practiced. Isabella's blood turns to ice. And then the warehouse door slams open. Keller Thorne steps in like a storm given a body. His men follow, fast, precise. Chaos explodes. Marcus shouts. One of his men grabs Isabella and yanks her backward. She stumbles, fighting, reaching for her mother. Keller moves toward her, eyes locked, rage blazing. A knife flashes. Isabella screams. Keller. The blade drives into Keller's side as he lunges, taking the hit meant for her. For a second, time slows. Keller's face tightens. He does not fall. He grabs the attacker, slams him into the table, and keeps moving. He reaches Isabella, pulls her behind him, and says, through clenched teeth, "Stay down." Blood darkens his shirt. Isabella's hands fly to his waist, pressing, trying to stop the bleeding. "You are hurt." Keller's voice is harsh. "I have had worse." His men are already freeing her mother. A shout rings out. Marcus tries to flee through a side door. Keller sees it. He takes 2 steps, then staggers. The knife wound is deeper than he wants to admit. Isabella watches him sway and panic floods her body. She grabs his arm. "Do not go." Keller's eyes meet hers. For the first time, there is no hatred there. No control. Only something fierce and vulnerable. He whispers, "I am not leaving you." Then he pushes forward anyway, driven by rage and duty and the need to finish what Marcus started. Isabella hears sirens in the distance. Keller's men corner Marcus near the loading dock. Keller reaches him and grabs his collar. Marcus spits, laughing even as fear creeps into his eyes. So the great Keller Thorne bleeds for a Cavendish girl. Keller's voice is low, deadly. "She is not a Cavendish to me. She is Isabella." Marcus's smile cracks. "Too late. You already broke her." Keller's face tightens. He lifts his fist. Then the police flood the dock, guns raised, shouting orders. In the end, Marcus is handcuffed, furious, still trying to look amused. Alistair Cavendish is arrested the same night, his schemes exposed in a sweep of financial warrants and seized accounts. Isabella's mother is rushed to the hospital. Isabella follows, but in the ambulance another stretcher is wheeled in beside her. Keller. His skin is pale. His eyes flutter. He reaches for her hand with shaking fingers. Isabella grips him, tears spilling. "Stay with me, please." Keller forces a faint smile. "You are stubborn." She sobs. "So are you." His voice is barely a breath. "Then we will survive each other." He squeezes her hand, and the squeeze is the only thing keeping her from breaking apart completely. Keller wakes up 3 days later. Isabella is asleep in the chair beside his bed, hair tangled, cheeks streaked where tears dried. A nurse nudges her gently. "Miss Cavendish." He is awake. Isabella jolts and leans over the bed. Keller's eyes open slowly, still shadowed by pain. He looks at her as if confirming she is real. "Are you going to scold me?" He rasps. Isabella lets out a shaky laugh. "Yes." Keller's mouth twitches. "Good. That means you are still here." She swallows hard. "You could have died." Keller watches her for a moment. Then he says, "I thought I deserved it." Isabella shakes her head. "Do not say that." Keller's voice is rough. "I built my life on hatred. Then you walked into my office stripped of everything, and I wanted you to feel what I felt." He stares at the blanket, jaw tight. "I succeeded, and it made me sick." Isabella whispers, "Why did you not tell me sooner?" "Because admitting I was wrong meant admitting I became the thing I hated." He says. His eyes lift to hers. "And because if you looked at me with disgust, I would have nothing left." Keller reaches, careful because of the bandages, and brushes his knuckles against her fingers. I am sorry, Isabella, for all of it. Isabella's anger is real. Her scars are real. But so is the truth. I cannot forget. She says. I might never be able to. Keller nods. I understand. She continues, voice steadying. But if you want redemption, you will have to earn it every day. I will. Keller says, like a vow. Weeks pass. Marcus Gray is charged with kidnapping, extortion, and fraud. Alastair Cavendish faces a mountain of financial crimes. Isabella stops reading headlines and watches her parents slowly heal instead. Keller visits, not as an enemy, but as a man learning how to be gentle. One afternoon, he drives Isabella to a small park by the river. The trees are bare, the sky pale. He stops beside a bench and says, I bought your family estate. Isabella stiffens. Why? Keller's voice is quiet. So you would have a choice. It is yours if you want it. Or it can be sold and the money used for your parents. I will not decide for you. The offer is not control. It is freedom. Silence settles between them. Isabella finally asks, what do you want from me, Keller? A chance. He says. Not a clean slate, just a chance to be beside you while you heal, while I learn to be someone you do not have to fear. Isabella takes a slow breath. Then start with the truth. No more secrets. No more games. Keller nods. Done. She holds out her hand. Not like a surrender. Like a bridge. Keller takes it gently as if afraid she will pull away. The moon rises pale above the river, thorned by winter branches, glowing anyway. And in that quiet light, two broken people choose, one careful step at a time, to walk toward redemption. Spring comes to Manhattan in small, stubborn ways. The wind loses its bite. The trees along the avenues show pale green at the edges. The city still rushes, still demands, still takes, but Isabella can finally breathe without feeling like she is stealing air. Her mother comes home first, slower than before, but smiling. Her father follows 2 weeks later, cane tapping the apartment floor like a metronome. Lena fills the kitchen with groceries and loud opinions, insisting that recovery should include real soup and better coffee than anything Keller ever forced on Isabella. Keller keeps his promise. No secrets. No games. He sits at Isabella's small table and hands her documents without flinching, bank records and signed statements, timelines of payments and shell companies. He answers every question, even when her voice turns sharp and her eyes turn wet. When she needs space, he leaves. When she needs help, he is already there, quiet, steady, present. At Thorn Group, Isabella asks to transfer out of the executive assistant role. She expects Keller to refuse. Instead he says, what do you want? I want to stand on my own. She tells him. Not under you. Keller nods once. Then you will. He creates a position for her in corporate strategy, a place where her mind matters more than her obedience. The first time she walks into a meeting and speaks, people listen. Some because they know her story. Some because she is brilliant. Isabella does not care why, as long as she earns the room with her own voice. One evening, months later, Keller brings her to the restored Cavendish estate outside the city. The house no longer feels like a ghost. It smells like fresh paint and sun-warmed wood. The gardens are trimmed, the fountain repaired. It is not a symbol of what she lost. It is proof she survived. Keller stands with his hands in his coat pockets, watching her take it in. I did not fix it to erase the past. He says. I fixed it because you deserve something that is yours. Isabella turns to him. And what do you think you deserve? Keller's throat works. Whatever you decide. She walks closer, close enough to see the faint scar where the knife struck him. Close enough to feel the heat of him without being trapped by it. You will spend your life earning this. She says. I know. Keller answers. I want to. Isabella reaches up and touches the scar with careful fingers. Then she leans in and kisses him, slow, deliberate, a choice made with open eyes. When she pulls back, Keller looks like he has been given something holy. He does not claim her. He does not demand. He simply whispers. Thank you. Isabella exhales, almost a laugh. Do not make me regret it. Keller smiles, small and real. I will not. Outside, the sky darkens into evening. The first stars appear, quiet and steady. The moon rises over the estate, no longer thorned by winter branches, bright enough to guide the path ahead.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.